Hi. Acceptance. Does it actually work? Or is it a fancy way of giving up? Some people call it peace. Others call it quitting. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about acceptance and what it means to me and how we can make it our superpower. So you ready? Let's get started. For me, acceptance means seeing things as it is, without any judgment, without any filter, without any negative narrative or even positive narrative. It is what it is. To some people, acceptance means being a doormat and not doing anything. That's not acceptance. That's being passive. Real acceptance is seeing the thing as it is. You don't have to like it, but you just have to acknowledge it. And then deciding what your next move is based on that. I'll give you an example. Michael Phelps. He is one of the most celebrated Olympian. In 2004 Olympics, at the age of 18, he had secured 8 medals in Athens, 6 of which were gold. By the time he reached Rio in 2016, he had secured 28 medals. 23 of those were gold. When Michael was 9, he was diagnosed with ADHD, which meant that he couldn't focus and was really disruptive in school. His mother channeled his energy into swimming, where he was showing a lot of talent. They could have just accepted his condition and did nothing about it. But instead, they did accept it, but then took positive action and lent into his strengths. There's a wonderful quote by Michael J. Fox. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that something is what it is, and there is gotta be a way through it. I love this quote because it sums it up perfectly, that there's gotta be a way through it. Whether it's with your attitude or with action, it could mean that there's no action needed, but you just need to change your perspective. Or there is action that you could take. So an example from my life, after I graduated, I then went on to do a master's in law at LSE. I did this over 2 years because it was a part-time course, which meant that in the first year I had to take 2 exams and I had to pass the first year to then move on to the second year, which I did. In the second year, after I completed my exams, I got my results. And when I opened the paper, I saw I had failed both of my exams. And what was worse, there was a letter informing me that I have not passed my entire master's, full stop. In order to pass my master's, I had to pass 4 exams. Doing this master's was extremely important to me because it was going to unlock a lot of opportunities, and I had put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into it. Not only financially, but emotionally and time. And it was a personal accomplishment as well to complete it. Now being told that I failed it, it was a shock. After spending a couple of days in self-pity and shock, I then saw a letter. And in that, the admissions officer said that this decision could be appealed if there was special circumstances. In my second year, I had a lot of personal issues that were happening in my life. The reasons of which are not relevant for this podcast, because I want to just highlight that an example of where there is acceptance and then seeing what action can be taken. So I took that offer up and I wrote in a letter appealing and gave them one of the reasons why I had failed my exams. I waited patiently. The response came back. And guess what? The admissions officer denied my appeal because it wasn't compelling enough. I didn't take that as a final answer because this master's was really, really important to me. And I believed that I deserved a second chance because I knew deep down in my heart I could have passed these exams. So I called the admissions officer and asked them that I had sent my appeal and it was not accepted, and what the reasons were and how I could have strengthened it. The admissions officer then gave me some reasons and also gave me some guidance. I listened carefully and then I went back and reflected. And then I wrote in again, giving the full picture of the reasons why I could have failed my exams, and then waited patiently. After a month, I got the response. And guess what? The admissions officer had accepted my appeal and I was allowed to sit my second year again. I took my 2 modules and I passed with flying colours. So this is just highlighting that acceptance is a strength. It is to just see the situation for what it is. And then what you do next is up to you. Whether it is changing your attitude, your perspective, or taking action where possible. What acceptance can mean. I've broken this down into 4 steps. No resistance. You stop wasting energy or fighting things that are real, are factual. It is what it is. Not agreement. You can accept it without approving, supporting it, or disagreeing with it. Number 3, acknowledging reality. You're seeing it for what it is, even if it's painful. There's just no judgment. And then finally, it's a starting point for action. It is a launch pad for action where possible. I like to just see it as just a starting point, whether it's a change in perspective or for action. So finally, acceptance is a tool. It can be used for your benefit or it can be used as a hindrance. If it's to avoid effort, responsibility, or decisions, that's not acceptance. It's called fear. You're hiding behind fear and calling it acceptance. So the key to acceptance is to understand the context, the motivation. Are you trying to hide? Trying to avoid responsibility? Pick one thing in your life that you have been resisting. Name it. Accept it. Then ask yourself, is there a way through it? Or can I change my perspective? Because real acceptance is when you stop fighting reality and start shaping your future. And remember, we all have a spark within us.